The information displayed in this broadcast is known to cause increased amounts of FOMO. Wells only and his guests are not responsible for any losses you may accrue for having weak hands. Where the haters at? Y'all bitches still ain't showed up. And now, right, we got Hex, flawless uptime. People thought this was a joke. Now they're mad at the chart. It's lullaby music, really, right? It's hard to believe that something like this exists. I get it, but you just gotta come to terms with reality. It just exists. Nothing we can do about it. Buy a steak and chill, baby. Shout out to Marketable Thoughts. You can't get this kind of shit for free anywhere else. It's very important to understand that. We're handing it out. People thought this was a joke. Now they're mad at the chart. So much luck, once again, because the facts don't give a fuck. Peace.
Yo, shout out to everybody in the chat. Happy Wednesday. Week is going by nicely. Hope everybody's having a good day. Man, it just keeps getting funny out there. I don't know how you guys see everything that's happening, but it definitely screams Rona, right? Because what happened during Rona? First thing that happened is that supply chains were disrupted. And what's happening now? Same thing. 30 days before the election. Roundabouts. Now, we talked about it a little bit yesterday, not in much detail, the poor situation, but it's like any other situation, right? Those in power are presumed to maintain that power, and to hell with you if you're not in agreement. That's pretty much what's going on there. I don't excuse me. I don't see how the union president telling the workers to go F themselves and the like is really them trying to find an amicable solution. But one thing that stands out to me is the simple fact that anybody that's literally in a position of power right now honestly believes that they have absolute power. And I don't know if people realize that. But that is exactly what these people think. These people think they have absolute power such that they know best. They got it all figured out. And whatever you're thinking doesn't fucking matter. And I mean, we're talking about people that are retarded outright, right? And not really retarded in the sense that they're mentally incapable, although, yes, many do fall in that bucket. But I mean it in the sense that I mean it in the sense that these people, they're autonomous. Or excuse me, they're not autonomous. And what I mean by that is that they have no problem following orders, regardless of how unlawful or ridiculous they might be. And sad fact of the matter is that The average person cannot wrap their minds around how dangerous someone like that is. You can't. You've never seen it. Um, Fact is that there's nothing more dangerous than a human robot, because those human robots, they're not really human, and that's the catch. Humans have what separates humans from other beings is the ability to rationalize right from wrong. I mean, that's pretty much it. Without that, not human. So when you're looking at the enemy, and you know who I'm talking about, the Jews, do you really think these people are human? I mean, think about that. You see exactly what they're doing in real time, not just to people in the Middle East, but to people here. They got minorities thinking their enemy is the white man. They have created, and by they I mean the Jews every time I say they have created an environment where the culture of violence and dismissiveness and self disrespect and self emulation is what's applauded. You know, just, oh yeah. Bank of America was down today. I don't know if people saw that. Um, Again, it's like it's so many ridiculous things happening. It's like, how do you keep, which ridiculous thing do you pick? Apparently, zero balances. I mean, and we're gonna get into these stories, as you guys know. Um, but it is game time, folks. And I'm mad I made my link and thumbnail before that headline dropped, because it was like probably like 30 minutes before that headline dropped. So I don't know where it's coming from, but there will be bank failures here shortly. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. It's like I've been telling you guys for a long time. 2023, it seemed like the banking world was teetering. It was on stilts. All of a sudden, 2024, we've only had one. That doesn't add up. Not at all. So you can bet your bottom dollar, right, that it's only a matter of when, not if, banks are going to start failing again. And it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting if the bank failure we do get is, if they're like a huge bank. Nobody ever expects a huge bank to fail. What happened in 2008, 9, 10, that was an anomaly. And that was really, in my opinion, all coordinated. Because how does a bank actually fail? Well, it's a two-step process, if not one step. First step is the state. Well, it's kind of a three-step, two-prong process. You have the regulators supervising the banks, and I'm saying supervising in quotes, right? So you got bank supervisors that apparently exist to monitor all these different aspects of a bank's operations. Do they do that? Psh, remains to be seen. Um, and you got multiple regulators. It's not just the FDIC. You got the FCC, the Treasury, the SEC. You got all these different facets of regulation that exist within the banking aspect, the financial aspect of the economy. Think about that. One entity has to front face with multiple regulatory bodies that literally make it up as they go along. And it's apparent and clear that they don't have any grasp of what is actually going on in the field, in the arena. These people don't know. So, how can you help somebody that does not know? Right? You basically cannot. Um, and that is kind of, I mean, it took me a while to figure that out because I was trying to help people that could not be helped. Right? And we all have to learn this lesson to some extent in life, that you can only help those who actually want to be helped. Because otherwise, it's ultimately a waste of time. Right? If you got kids, you know what I'm talking about. Because, man, kids, I was a kid. I didn't give a flying fuck about anything my parents said. Uncles, you name it. They didn't know as much as me. That's all I knew. Oh, man. Yo, humans are funny. Humans are funny. They really, really are. Oh, boy. Uh, Give me a second, guys. Um, so you have all these regulators telling these banking institutions, depending on their business operations, what they can and can't do and stuff like that. And again, does it look like that's what's happening? Clearly not. Because when you look at the math, and that's all we can do, it's pretty clear that nobody's regulating or overseeing or supervising shit. Right? And that is the most important thing I probably said ever, if you've been watching my streams for all this time. Because all of your money, all of your resources, think close here, listen closely now at what I'm about to say, because this is key. And the average person does not think about this shit at all, because they're that relying on the system that they think they don't have to think about it. But as I've been telling you guys for a long time, that party's over. Realize that you live in a time when not being sure of where your assets are at all times is okay. Sorry about that, guys. Now, I'll say again, you know, think about it. Live in a society where not being in charge of your assets, where not overseeing your assets, your resources, right? Because that's really what money is. It's a resource. It's like water. It's like food. All of that stuff. And if you don't have it or control over it, guess what? You don't actually have it at all. And this is true for any and every financial item. And I've explained before how even when you buy a stock, you do not own that motherfucker. Somebody else owns it. You don't own anything. And the average person is really honestly unaware of these tricks that are being played on them, because that's what that is. It's a trick. Do you think, now think about this closely and let me get a yes or no in the chat. Do you think people would buy stocks if they knew they didn't actually own them? I mean, I'm pretty sure the answer you're going to give me is no. Because why would you just give your money away? But nobody realizes that they're doing that. And the funny thing is that the entire Western monetary system functions the same way. Everything is a Ponzi, literally. Everything is a scam, literally. And then the things that are not, people don't realize that they're not because they're only used to scams and Ponzi's. That's exactly what you discover in the crypto space, in the fake crypto space, because nobody actually knows anything. That's why I don't even talk to crypto people. For fucking what? They're just looking for the next fix. They're like junkies. There's nothing to talk about. There's nothing to talk to when you're talking to a junkie. Who you talking to? If you've dealt with junkies before, you know exactly what I mean. If you haven't, then keep living. You'll come across one eventually. Definitely how it goes down. So, patience. That's basically what it boils down to. Because, I mean, what else is there? You know, people don't. It's like we talked about yesterday. People don't want to think they're being fooled. People rather think that the person that's trying to educate them is the dumb one. So, you gotta live and let live, because we can't fix stupid. I'm not smart enough for that. So that's how we gotta rock. We gotta let the dummies prove their prove that they are what they are, right? And that's ultimately all we can do as individuals. So, if somebody's interested in finding the right information, they will find it. I mean, that's how I became the person that I am today. I bought Bitcoin, sold it, came right back and realized I fucked up, right? And that's literally how it works. Yeah, didn't think so. Um, Literally how it works is not rocket science, and I think that's why I have the best viewership out of probably all YouTubers, because I don't really have random people coming to check me out. Most people that come through and stay is because they know what they're getting here, and that's kind of the difference, right, between winners and losers. Winners are looking to win. Losers are looking to feel good, not realizing that winning feels even better. What are you gonna do? All right, let's go over the news. Grid apocalypse hits Carolinas. 360 substations down. Power restoration could take what? Months. Now, one of my coworkers just lost power for 5 days. Motherfucker lives in Georgia, nowhere near North Carolina, although they are close to South Carolina. But think about that. We're talking about in the United States, in America, months. This is when you got to start asking yourself, what the fuck have they been doing with all this tax money? And I mean, if you know, you know, because I know. And if you've been paying attention just a little bit, you know too. Damn. I mean, I hate to say, but I done told you, because this shit was definitely coming one way or the other. The destructive path of Helene has left extensive damage to Duke Energy infrastructure in the North Carolina mountains and upstate South Carolina. We believe around 50% of remaining outages in these areas will require significant replacement and rebuilding of poles, lines, and substation equipment. Now, we know they can control the weather. They advertise as such all over. Um, they're dropping all these fake headlines about solar flares now, and what is this? Geomagnetic storms for the Earth next. Oh, apparently, the headline states Earth is bracing. I didn't know the Earth could brace for an extreme geomagnetic storm this week after the sun blasted a massive solar flare toward our planet this week. Oh, hey, if you're watching this stream, you should know that the sun does not emit any solar flares, any flare at all, and that is not 93 million miles away. It's like right there. And the sun is not what you have been taught it is on top of that. But we'll keep it moving. That's a conversation for another day. Back to the topic at hand. You know, we know they can control the weather. We know they can create hurricanes and do all kinds of stuff. We read over the sand in this area. I can't remember Asheville, North Carolina, how it's crucial for um, battery manufacturing and stuff like that, electronics components in general. Um, so it would not be a far stretch to assume this was manipulated into this jurisdiction, into this venue, into this area of the country to cause said destruction, to then reconstruct this arena, this area, in line with their hope for a 15-minute city and all of that. Right? Because you guys got to remember, their ultimate goal is to make America like China, if not worse. Because you got to realize all the positive shit they tell you about China, that's the shit that the CCP all controls outright. So it's not really anything for you. Period. And that's important to understand. Because it's just too many goddamn lies, man. Too many lies. And let me see here. So, okay. And the quantity, the amount, um, you know, it could cost you your life as some people are learning the hard way in North Carolina. Um, and then, you know, on top of that, they want to reconfigure the world for AI. You know, the world is not built for that right now. It's literally not. Last week we provided, last week, this is May 2024, just when you thought Washington have been prioritizing Ukraine's power grid over the year. Well, I don't know if people are aware, but I mean, the country is literally being robbed and pillaged as we speak. And it's been the case for at least since Kennedy's been shot. At least. And really longer than that. Right? Once you really do the math. So thanks, Tarwin. So there you go. That's the importance of this specific area. So it's not surprising in many ways, unfortunately. Um, I don't know. I don't know. I guess Bitcoin selling off. Yeah. I mean, you guys got to understand there's going to be tons of manipulation with respect to Bitcoin because that's how that's going to go. Because that's where they want the suckers at right now. Right. So if you're one of those suckers, well, good luck because you're not going to make it more than likely. New Israeli strike on Damascus kills several civilians amid fears of regional war. Israel on Wednesday has once again targeted Damascus, and this is in Syria. For those that don't know, I don't know how Syria all of a sudden got itself injected into this scenario, but here we are. Uh, but which marks the first time Israeli's military has struck Syria since the Tuesday night major ballistic missile attack by Iran. The fresh airstrike happened in broad daylight in a residential neighborhood on the outskirts of the capital, killing at least three civilians, according to state run TV Sana'a. Another three were reported wounded. Some unverified reports say that a multi-story residential building was hit. It is unclear what Israeli jets might have been targeting, but Israeli media often cast these operations as Iranian assets, as against Iranian assets, excuse me. So, the important thing to grasp about this is that we might not ever visualize. This is assuming we're not informed of an American carrier carrying American jets with Israeli flags on them. But, what's happening here? Well, what's happening here is that these people are literally going out of their way to destroy as many places as they possibly can. No questions asked. As long as it's in their way or they feel like they have a right to destroy it for whatever reason, animals are going to animal. And that's what we're seeing from these Jews. Walsh's Am I Racist outgrosses Coppola's anti-Trump vanity project and costs 40 times less. So, I don't really give a fuck about either. Um, but this is just a sign of the times. Literally, a sign of the times. Let's see if we can find the actual. Okay, this should be it. All right. Am I Racist has done 11 million a day. But this is only it's only domestic. Okay. Let's see. Well, did I miss it? Hold on. Hold on, maybe this is it. Damn it. It's not it. Variety, don't care. Don't care. Damn. Oh, okay. About to say. Wow. This is horrible. Holy shit. Yes, they are. Yes, they are blowing up Christians in Syria. They're blowing up Christians, i.e., Catholics, i.e., anything that's not Jewish, wherever the fuck they can, except for Muslims, because they can use them for now until they're done using them, and then they will proceed to disperse with them as well. All right, so wow. Today is the 2nd of October. this is a major blockbuster release. I don't know if you guys know who Francis Ford Coppola is. Pretty big name in the movie biz. So I don't know if it's that they just didn't market it or what. But for this random little movie to do it, to outdo it, damn it. Where are you? I mean, it did this in a weekend? No, it didn't do that in a weekend. There's no way. Weekend, okay. Okay. Opening weekend, this movie did 4.5 million versus 4.3. Oh, this includes Monday too, so really only 4 million. So that's very bad. That's very bad for a Hollywood movie of this stature. And that's a sign of the times. People literally do not give a fuck. I haven't really heard anybody talking about sports like that. I mean, serious shit is going on. Nobody really cares. Nobody's really concerned. People want to not be bothered with bullshit that they shouldn't have to be bothered with, if that makes any sense. Right? Because this is the crux of the action that we're finding ourselves in right now. It's just a bunch of ridiculousness left and right. Well, they've been having to tone it down because people aren't really buying into it. But you guys know what I mean. Um, all of that is a function of all the nonsense that they've been throwing in people's faces, and people are tired of it. That's ultimately what it boils down to. People are tired of the nonsense. They're tired of being treated differently just because they're regular. Because all the people that are pushing this stuff, they're not regular people. They want to be, you know, special. So they can play the victim card. Because that's all it boils down to. 99% of the time is how big of a victim can I be? It's crazy. But this is what we got. Iran braces for Israeli attack. Shutters main airports, closes airspace. I mean, that pretty much speaks for itself. Um, American stunning and growing dependence on government aid and pictures. Let's check this out. I thought this was interesting. The number of counties dependent on government aid has surged over time. The lead chart shows political party affiliation. All right, so we see the coast pretty much blue. Right, I'm surprised this is not blue down here. All right, so the areas that are blue, no brainer. Right, the areas that are red, no brainer. Wall Street Journal has a great article on the growing reliance of Americans uh, on over time. Americans' reliance on government support is soaring, driven by programs such as Social Security, which is bankrupt, Medicare, and Medicaid, which are also bankrupt. Cool. That support is especially critical in economically stressed communities throughout the U.S. And guess where those economically stressed communities are? Take a wild guess. Everywhere. There is no political color for that one. And that is what people on both sides of the aisle typically miss. Let's see, the support is especially critical. Especially throughout the U.S., many of which lean Republican and are concentrated in the swing states like Ohio. Pennsylvania, Alabama, Arkansas. Crucial in deciding the presidential election. Neither party has much incentive to dial back the spending. The big reasons for this dramatic growth: a much larger share of Americans are seniors, and their healthcare costs have risen. At the same time, many communities have suffered from economic decline because of challenges including the loss of manufacturing, leaving government money as the largest shares of people income in such places. Appalachians come to mind? Should. And it's these things that have been happening really since the 50s, 60s, the destruction of the manufacturing base in America. So this is not anything new. This is really just coming to a head. You know, by the time this generation disappears, there's not going to be an economy here in America. There's not. I can't really imagine what type of economy we're going to have, but it ain't going to be a good one. Not if these Jews can maintain their control. I mean, we see where things are going. Future slide. The market was a little volatile today. We'll take a look at that in a little bit. But it's like I talked about earlier. The market is reacting to the volatility. Actually, yesterday, the market is going to ultimately react to the geopolitical risk in the market. You just can't think people are going to ignore reality forever. They've done it with math, but that's because people are very good at that. But when war breaks out, people eventually notice. Um, the stock market hasn't really, as far as individual stocks are concerned, you're not really seeing any sell off, but you are seeing some volatility in certain names, like Nike, for example. And this is, again, a sign of the times. Of course, Nike has played their hand horribly with how they marketed their sneakers, what they did with their sneakers, how they overinflated supply, and all these dumb things that they've done. Um, so it's really not a surprise that these people can't sell anything nowadays. Patriots are advancing across Europe. I just thought this was interesting because in France, Macron is still president, and we all know they lost the election there. And by they, I mean the Jews. So how is he still holding any kind of office? Well, they keep making up excuses. Italy didn't have that issue for, I think that I'm pretty sure that person is beholden to the Jews anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Hungary and Poland, we know, are outliers because they're not under the control of the World Economic Forum, as far as we can tell. Um, Austria and all these other the Scandinavian countries, like they're all subservient, right? So Hungary isn't really important. Germany, however, is. Austria is, um, because they're towing the line, right? But this guy, Herbert Kickl, leader of the Freedom Party of Austria, celebrates with supporters in Vienna Saturday or Sunday after polls close in the country's national election. Because guess what? People are fucking tired of the gay shit, literally and figuratively. That's what. And this is the result. All right, let's see here. Germany, Netherlands, Canary Islands. I mean, no matter where you look, Czech Republic, no matter where you look, the jig is up for these clowns. And this is why I don't see how things don't get violent. Because evil does not just quit. They're not just going to say, okay, you guys voted us out of office. We tried, but we'll try harder next time. Jeez, gee willikers. Like they're not going to say no shit like that. Like you got to be dumb as fuck to think that's what's going to go down. You got to be extra dumb. Like, I don't know what to tell you, but extra dumb indeed. Because ain't no way in hell those people are just going to give up the reins that they've been holding on to for all this time just because you feel like it. Yeah, they're talking about you if you're watching this stream. That's what the nationalists are, FYI. Is the UK the biggest enabler of corporate tax dodging? And in case you don't know, the answer is yes. The UK is the biggest tax haven for the West. It competes with the US. And you wouldn't know that if you weren't in the money game. But that is the bold faced truth. Corporate tax haven index scores of the world's most damaging corporate tax havens in 2024. Well, what's funny is that the US is not just a corporate tax haven, it's just a regular ass, rich people as fuck tax haven. And what's interesting is people typically think of BVI, Cayman, and Bermuda. They never think, hell, even Jersey and Isle of Man, they never think of the United States. They never think of the UK. But those are the top dogs in reality. I mean, hell, even in this graphic, they're not shown because nobody looks at them ever. But if you actually did look at the figures, the facts and figures, you would see what's true. Yen continues to crater as Japan gives up on further rate hikes. Carry trade is back with a bang. So, see, it's things like this that while we have all of these negative geopolitical realities ongoing, you have all these counter trend monetary phenomena ongoing as well, which is what is causing all this crazy price action in the market right now. So here you go. Japan's standard of living has disintegrated with real wages collapsing, shown in this chart in red, which is what's been happening in the US as well for a very long time. Meanwhile, the BOJ is pretending there is no inflation and has sparked the latest and maybe last Japanese stock bubble. So people are now starting to realize what I've been talking about for a long time, that being that we're now about to see that Venezuela style move throughout the Western economies because that's just what comes with stupidity, sadly. Feds barking. September cut was warranted because rates were, quote, out of sync. Now, nothing really more prescient about this headline than that last piece, because that is the crucial key to the puzzle. That is this macro game. You know, these people pretend that they are independent of each other or are doing something that you can't comprehend when all they're doing is copying each other. Pro tip. And they're not even really doing that. They're just taking orders from the top. Bank of America customers on Wednesday reported having problems accessing their bank accounts or that their account balances currently show zero. The outrage started at 12:30 p.m. Eastern on Wednesday, according to the tracking website Down Detector. Nasty. About an hour later, more than 20,000 user complaints were submitted via the website. Epic Times' Jack Phillips reports that numerous Bank of America users have posted screenshots of empty account balances on social media. An Epic Times staff member also reported not being able to log into their Bank of America account. All right, so we get the trend here. Well, hope your money's there, guys, if you got an account with them. Don't really know what else to say on that one. Good luck. So let's see. What was the price action like today in the NASDAQ? Oh, this is not the one I wanted to look at. All right. It's really StreamYard because my computer is perfectly fine anytime I'm not using StreamYard. And I keep 100 tabs open and I do all other types of stuff. So it's just StreamYard. I'm not making any changes for my computer, just for StreamYard. All right. Um, all right. So market on the open last night rolled over a little bit. Actually, let's close. Let's get rid of this. Um, God damn. Hold on, guys. All right. So this is the 6 o'clock p.m. open, electronic open. As you guys see, we traded to the level various times overnight. Once, twice, thrice, broke it, and on the open, traded to the previous day's level. Um, and they got bid from there. Market didn't see higher than 19,975 pre-market, and that was kind of the level the market contended with the rest of the day, as you can probably notice here. Let me just outline that in the chart here. Um, oh, did I say 19,975? Yeah, here we go. But it actually went all the way, yeah, to 20,010. So you had two levels of importance, 20,010 and then 19,975. And if you look at just what the market did all day, it kind of just traded around those. In fact, let's just show the regular trading hours. Um, yeah. And as you guys can see, um, after the market opened, this is the 9:30 open right here. We traded down just like we discussed a minute ago to that second level, 19,818 or 833, and then we went bid right with strength, and that's kind of the point. And then we recovered this 19,975 level, which was yesterday's settlement price. So that settlement value is very crucial. My entire trading process revolves around that. So it's important to pay attention to what price is doing with respect to that level because it matters, especially in futures markets, more so than any other market. But if you are tracking futures markets and you're understanding that, then you can pretty much use that to your advantage, right? When looking at the broader market with respect to what stocks are doing or rates or whatever have you. And that's a little pro tip there for those that know or don't know and you just learned. So when you look at 2010, the market treated that area as a pretty important area throughout the day, touching it and touching 975 and 985. And then ultimately we traded up towards 20,055 and then 20,090. So it was kind of a really dull session when you really look at it, but it was still volatile because you had a relatively big swing. And you had two-sided activity, which during the regular session is just not something that happens a lot. So it's good when it does. Um, as of now, the market is looking sideways, really, is the best way to put it. And I'll show you what I mean here in a moment. So when you look at the short term moving average, you'll see that it's flat. and we had a down candle, a candle of indecision. Right, anytime you see a doji candle, that means a candle of indecision, and typically that means that price is going to reverse. And what's interesting is we had a close of 2000,009, and we had an open of 20,055. So that's approximately a 40-point gap or so, right? So not anything insignificant. 35, 40-point gap is pretty sizable. That's a pretty bullish open. We opened above the moving average, and we're significantly above the settlement price for yesterday. So it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility for price to trade down. Well, I mean, it kind of already did it already. To kind of trade down to that yellow level, which it kind of already did, and we'll see that. The yellow level was what, 46 or something like that, and it's already traded down to 42.50 on the open. Let's go down to 1 minute. Here you have it. 150 or 42.50 on the open. And when you zoom out to the daily, you got 46.73, 46.65, right? So the market has already touched that level, cleared it, and recovered. So if it stays above it, you can bet your bottom dollar that structurally we will maintain a bullish tone for the rest of the session. Full disclosure, I am long, but that had nothing to do with the analysis I just did. But glad it worked out that way. At any rate, that's what's happening with the market as of now. We know that this level, 20,538, is of importance. We talked about it yesterday. Um, let's see here. Give me a second. 516 51495. Yep. 516. Dun, dun, dun. All right. Um, 2005. Whoop. 516. And let's put that in, yeah, middle. So the significance here being that if price does get above that level, then we want to beat feet, right? If you're short, if you're long, you want to get the hell out. 1 + 1 is 2. 49. All right. So that's what's going on with the Nasdaq. I mean, the E-mini is going to be the same deal to a certain extent. Just get rid of these. I never actually use them. I don't know why I keep them. Yeah, it's the same deal. What was the close? The close was 57.60 and a quarter, and the open was a 9-point bump. And interestingly enough, the market wasn't even able to retrace all the way down to the yellow moving average, which is the 9-period EMA. It was 3 points short or so. Not sure if that was the case at the time, given the price is higher now, but market is definitely has a bullish tone, no doubt about it. Where the hell is? Here we go. All right, we're about to wrap up, guys. We're just gonna go over the 5 markets. Gold is still floating up here, So, doing this thing. Crude higher, doing this thing. Um, Crude is going to be an interesting market moving forward. Like we talked about yesterday, it's going to really be tapped in with geopolitics right now. It's going to really matter more than ever before. Specifically because Israel's doing what they're doing. Everything is pointing to major risk off. All right, so dollar definitely giving us that divergent stance right here. So it's looking like whatever bullish thought process people might be having is ripe for a pause to a certain extent, based on risk off. Then stocks could get sold, at least some. Um, it could change the view of the market right now. And it's important to remember that there was a contract switch. So let's take a look at the actual same picture. So let's take a look at bonds real quick, and we'll wrap it up. Bonds looking like they're ready to fall. Interesting. Interesting. Oh, oh, okay. Never mind that. Got to defer to the 123 level because it's definitely acting as support. VWAP below it on the annual basis, and the quarterly just started. So we'll defer to the last one. That looks like 122, 123 also. So you got 120 and 123 as levels of importance for buyers to step in. Right now, 123 seems to be 123 and a half seems to be pretty solid of an area. We do have resistance above. Um, 126 is at 125 and a half. So we'll see what the market does in the next coming days because there's a lot of reasons for it to be lower, a lot of reasons for it to be higher. That's what's interesting about markets. When you start to realize that nothing is linear. We got a higher move in volatility today. Actually, got a lot of motion and volatility today. Opened up higher, then sold off. Let's go into the 5 minute here. And let's see if we can get session breaks to show. No. Here we go. All right, so that's the close for last night. And the open, it opens at 3 in the morning. But here's your 9:30 right here. All right, so volatility was bid on the open and then sold off, meaning stocks got bought. But then once we got to this point, volatility just flattened out, right? And even though volatility flattened out, oh, hold on. Sorry about that, guys. But even though volatility flattened out, right, that happened at what, 11:20, 11:30. Let's take a look at what happened in the price action. Um, 11:30 came around and price sold off. Right. So even though volatility was kind of doing nothing all day, this is what we got for the trade rest of the day. So things to be aware of when you're trading markets. They are not for the faint of heart, and they do not care about your position. So that's what we got going on today, guys. Things to be aware of. Risk. I guess we could take a look at the economic calendar for tomorrow. Speaking of risk, you got challenger job cuts in the morning. And what is that? Provides information on a number of announced corporate layoffs by industry and region. Continuing jobless claims, which refers to the actual number of unemployed and currently receiving unemployment benefits. Initial jobless claims are those people that just got laid off and just applied. Then you have a composite PMI, which is just a measure of production, or excuse me, manufacturing activity. Factory orders, 10 a.m., 10:30, and these are all Eastern time. So you got challenger job because of 7:30, the jobs info at 8:30, PMIs at 9:45, factory orders and ISM activity at 10 a.m. Yep. 10:30 natural gas stocks. 10:40 Fed speaker. Same guy that was speaking today. And then after that, just auctions at 11:30. Usual stuff. So if the market is going to catch a bid in terms of volatility, right? We talked about this yesterday. We got to be aware of a potential rollover in the market, right? Because things always look a certain way and then they end up looking another. That's just the nature of the beast when it comes to markets. They're elusive like that. One moment I'm calling out a bull move, the next moment it's pancaking on his face. So it's just the way it goes, guys. Things to be aware of, right? But for now, yeah, that market does definitely look weak. So we'll see how that goes. All right, guys. Well, thank you for tuning in today. Hope you guys have a good rest of your day, and I hope you don't have an account at Bank of America. Peace.